in every generation, at all times, we are tested by Hashem by situations which develop in our times. And we have to know how to contend with them and define them. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they dangerous? And what would be the right way to channel them or channel ourselves away from them? For sure, in our generation, one of the biggest problems is the internet and all other sorts of high-tech developments of different forms of connecting with people and communication and advertising. And of course, brainwashing. The most powerful form of brainwashing today is through all the different forms of social media. And there are all sorts of rabbis, and all sorts of opinions. Some are good, some are not good, some are dangerous. And we have to know how to handle these situations. Besides the fact that the internet can open up to people a whole world of evil without having to be there. It's all in their mind, in their heart, in their pocket, where they hold their smartphone. I always say, how much would Bil'am have paid for having a smartphone? In his time to try and entice the Jewish people to sin, he had to take them out of their camp, bring them into his camp, and etc., etc. But today you don't have to move. It's all there in your hands, in your pocket. The main topic which we are tested with in this generation is lack of spirituality. Meaning, since the whole physical world is so blown out of proportion and given such attention and such value, whether it's fashion, whether it's homes, whether it's cars, whether it's whatever, everything is around materialism and physicality. And the more the physical side goes up, the spiritual side goes down. Hazal say, when Jerusalem was destroyed, Tzor was built. From the destruction of Jerusalem, Tzor was built. When we sin, it's not only we destroy Jerusalem, we built the enemy camp. From the building of Jerusalem, which is destroyed, the enemy's palaces will be built. I always had a big question. Two very great sages of the Jewish people. One lived 350 years ago, and one lived 170 years ago. The first one is the Ramchal, the Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the author of Mesilat Yesharim. And the second one is Rabbi Chaim Volozhiner, the Talmid of the Vilna Gaon. Both of them wrote very outstanding books. Mesilat Yesharim is a book of ethics, Musar. But Derech Hashem is really a condensed version of the writings of the Ari in Kabbalah, teaching us in totally non-Kabbalistic language, in philosophical language, all the main points of our belief of why was the world created, what's the purpose of us being here, why are we tested, what does Hashem want for us, etc., etc. And Nefesh HaChaim is also a book totally based on the Kabbalah. Rabbi Chaim Volozhiner, he was the one who founded the Volozhiner Yeshiva. And yet he made such a book, Nefesh HaChaim, totally based on the writings of the Ari. What is these two Torah giants intend their books for? The answer is they understood, and they are preparing us how to be able to fight this battle against materialism and physicality, and uplift our spirituality. And everything in their books are based upon the concept that man was created in the image of God, which does not refer at all to the physical image. It's the spiritual image because of the Jewish soul. Our soul, as Chazal say, come from above. Chelek Eloka Memal, Kavyachol, divine part of Hashem. Almost impossible to say. And because of our Jewish soul, we can connect up to Hashem. Our actions and deeds affect even the higher spiritual worlds. How much more so our physical world. And we're at a very high spiritual level. But that's as long as we know how to balance the soul with the body. The body is also is in partnership with the soul to fulfill Torah and mitzvot. But if the body pulls the soul down and takes it on another route, a route of, if we're speaking to people from America, we have to say route. In English we say route. So they will misguide them and mislead them into parts of physicality and materialism, and we lose our way in the forest in the jungle of evil surrounding us. And forget our spirituality, forget our Yiddish neshama, the holy soul we have within us. And the wonderful Torah and the wonderful mitzvot, which are all opportunities to fulfill our duty in this world. These two books are based on one concept: to teach us about our spiritual essence, to know that we are godly and holy, a nation with a connection to our forefathers, and with the very soul that Hashem blew into Adam HaRishon, which sparks and parts of that soul are reincarnated in every generation. When we know who we are, we know what's expected of us. As Chazal say in Avod, Da me'ayin bata v'le'an ata holech. If you know where you came from, your grandfather was not a chimpanzee. Your grandfather was a Gadol b'Yisrael. Your soul is from the breath of Hashem, which was blown into Adam HaRishon. You are spiritual. If we get to understand that we are spiritual, then that gives us the strength to fight the whole jungle of materialism and physicality which surrounds us, bombarding us day and night, using all the mass media to contaminate our minds and our hearts and mislead us. There's a Mishnah in Avot, it's in Perek Gimel, Mishnah 4. Rabbi Akiva said, "Beloved is man who was created in the image of God. He was shown special love in that it was made known to him that he was created in the image of God. As it says, for in the image of God he made man." And then it says, "Beloved are Israel who are called children of the Omnipresent." As it says, you are children to Hashem. The third thing, beloved are Israel who were given a precious treasure, which is the Torah, which was the source of creation. And this wonderful Torah which guides us in the way of Hashem. I always had a question, why was this Mishnah part of Pirkei Avot, which is a book of the ethics from Har Sinai passed down to us from our rabbis. This Mishnah doesn't have any musar in it. It's not ethics. It's just Rabbi Akiva saying, wow, how lucky we are. We were created in the image of Hashem. We are children to Hashem. He gave us His Torah. How lucky we are, how wonderful it is. To answer this question, there's a Mishnah in Avot, Rabbi Akavya ben Halalel Omer. Think of three things and you'll never come to sin. Where did you come from? Where are you going? And before who you're going to have to give account. And then he explains, you come from a drop of semen. You have no right to show off and think you're great. Your beginnings are very lowly. That's where you come from. Where are you going? You're going to end up in a grave and plenty of worms waiting for you there. And then you're going to have to give account of all your deeds, also concerning your future in the world to come. Are you going to be among those who go to Gehenna or those who go to Gan Eden? So the question is, why did Akavya ben Halalel repeat his Mishnah twice, once without an explanation and once with an explanation? So we answer like this. The first time he said it without an explanation, he was speaking to the righteous. Know where you come from. What's your lineage? You're a great-great-grandson of Abraham Avinu. His great-great-great-grandfather was Adam Arishon, created by Hashem Himself, and Hashem blew into him the spirit of life. That's where you come from. Ulan ata olech. After 120, you're going to be in Gan Eden with all the righteous, the great sages of law, and study Torah and be close to Hashem, basking in His divine light, the light of His Shekhinah, divine presence. Hashem created the world to reward you. He's going to judge you on each action, and according to what you did, Torah and Mitzvot and Maasim Tovim are going to be rewarded. So we see that there's two ways to speak. If we're speaking to righteous people, we speak positive. If we're speaking to people who are far away from Torah, we speak negative. We give it to them as it is. Where do you come from? From the filth. Where are you going? To the worms, etc. But when we're speaking to tzaddikim, we speak spirituality. Where do you come from? Who's your lineage? Where's your soul from? Who created you? Where are you going after 120? To the world to come, spirituality. Rabbi Akiva, his words of, beloved is man who was created in the image of God. Beloved are Israel who are called his children. How lucky are Am Yisrael who were given Torah and Mitzvot, is speaking to the tzaddikim. When we praise the tzaddikim and make them aware of their greatness and holiness, this is the biggest musar. So he's telling them, if we remember that Hashem created us in His holy image, and we have a holy soul, and since the source of our soul is from Hashem, we're considered children of Hashem. The whole world was created for Am Yisrael. As Rashi says on the first sentence in the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz, b'shvil Torah u'b'shvil Yisrael. The Torah cannot be without Am Yisrael, and Am Yisrael are nothing without Torah. Together we are everything. For us and the Torah, the world was created. This was the intention of the Ramchal in his book Derech Hashem, and Reb Chaim Volozhiner in his book Nefesh HaChaim, who wrote books which teach us about our spirituality and guide us how to develop and uplift our spirituality and how to contend and put down our physicality. and to know what it's all about. What does Hashem expect from us to achieve in our lives? We have spiritual responsibility for ourselves, for our future, for bringing the world to perfection. All this depends on us being able to carry the banner of Torah into the jungle of evil and fight all the physicality and materialism which is trying to conquer the world and darken our eyes and darken out the whole world. Our only hope is to light up the world with the light of Torah and mitzvot through the guidance of our great rabbis who teach us what we are in essence. How lucky we are, how fortunate we are, says Rabbi Akiva, that Hashem created us in His spiritual image. How lucky we are that we can, beyond doing His will in mitzvot, positive commandments and negative commandments, we can work on our character traits and improve as human beings. That can only be through the Torah and Musar and uplifting our spirituality continuously. How lucky we are children of Hashem. He loves us. He created the world for us. He gave us the Torah. The world was created for Torah and for Israel. If we use these concepts to always remember where we come from the highest sources of spirituality, then we can understand where we're going and what's expected of us. And this will give us the strength and the capability to fight the whole world. Fight doesn't mean with swords and with pistols or atom bombs. Fight is by lighting up the world. As it says, Me'at mina or doha harbe mina oshech. A little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. And we can do it. And we have the greatest weapons, which is the power of spirituality which we get from Torah and mitzvot. So we have to feel uplifted and encouraged and happy, like Rabbi Akiva says. Beloved is man, lucky is man, fortunate is man that we have all these great blessings that Hashem has given us, the opportunity of being spiritual and living lives of spirituality and goodness and purity with good character traits and kindness and hesed, and to keep away from all the evil of the world. If we have these important concepts in mind continuously, and that will come by learning these very special books, Derech Hashem and Nefesh HaChaim, which uplift us spiritually, this will give us the strength and the power to live lives of spirituality and to keep away from all the evil of the world. We are being attacked with armies of evil. The mass media. We will fight back with the name of God, with the purity that we have from His Torah, the holiness that we get from His Torah, the spirituality that we have to live our lives according to the way the Torah teaches us, lives of purity and spirituality.